This is video file 3 for a property number 104 Dorrins Strand in Strandhill, County Sligo. So this is a photograph of the sink in the ground floor toilet room. So you can see here the stopper is missing. So on this type of sink here, the stopper is connected to it's connected underneath to a lever which goes back up and connects into a little lever here, which is normally located here between the two taps, just behind the tap there. And you push it up and down and that operates the stopper. So that was the type of stopper that was there. And this type of stopper that replaces it, this one here, it's just a rubber stopper. But the problem with that stopper is there's no grate. So if you drop something into the sink, it'll disappear. And you really, I suppose, ideally would like to replace the stopper that was there. The stopper, when it comes up, it normally just comes up 1 millimeter or 2, so nothing too big can fall down into that hole. So it's impractical as it is. So really, I suppose this stopper would need to be replaced. The only way to replace that stopper might be to replace the whole tap unit here, because as I say, the lever is fixed into the back of this tapped unit. So you might have to replace the taps and the stopper all as one in order to get it back working the way it was. The fans, this is the fan in the upstairs, the first floor bathroom. This fan, it's just a little bit noisy. It sounds like the fan is actually rubbing off the housing, so it's a little bit noisy. And then the fan downstairs, oh sorry, I don't have a photograph of the fan in downstairs in the ground floor toilet room, but that fan in the ground floor toilet room, that's not working at all. It won't switch on. So you need to get an electrician in to repair the fan downstairs, and he may be able to do something with this fan upstairs as well. Now this is the ensuite. In the first floor ensuite, the toilet seat is missing. It needs to be replaced. And this again is the ensuite, the first floor ensuite. This is the sink in the first floor ensuite. And again, you've got a problem with the stopper. So it's the same problem. The stopper is missing, whatever happened to the stopper. And this is a very, very common problem that I see with these types of stoppers. So that's the lever for the stopper, which is the same as the one that I was speaking about for the ground floor toilet room. So that lever goes up and down and operates the stopper. Now what normally happens is the mechanism gets rusty and stiff, and then they fail to operate. And so in order to replace this stopper with a proper stopper to get it to work satisfactorily, you may have to replace this tap unit and this lever to get it to work. Now this is the external, this is the door, this is the front door. Now you can see here the front door, that's the seal there. So the seal has deteriorated and it's no longer sealing between the frame, between the door frame and the door. You're no longer getting an adequate seal at the front door. Now this is a close-up. You can see here, there's the gap between, you can see that the seal has deteriorated and there's a gap between the door and the seal. So that can allow a draft to come in. Now, however, this door, the front door, does have a double seal. There's another seal inside, on the inside of the frame here, which is actually working. So at the minute, it's not too bad. You know, there's no draft coming in because the internal seal is working. But if the internal seal deteriorates, then you'll start to get a draft coming through. Now, just while I'm on this point, I'll talk about the condition in general of the windows and the doors. The condition of the windows and the doors, the external windows and doors in general, is very good. This was really the only problem, significant problem, that I noticed on the external windows and doors. They're all opening and closing fine, smooth, and the seals seem to be fine. So in general, I would have said the condition of the doors and windows is very good. Now the internal, some of the internal doors, this is the ground floor the ground floor toilet room. The lock here is missing for the toilet room here. You can see where the lock used to go. It's missing, and that needs to be replaced. Now, if you take a look on the next page, this is actually what the lock is supposed to look like there. And that's the lock on the first floor bathroom. It's the same lock, but it's still there and it's working fine. But on the ground floor, it's missing. Something happened to it, so that one needs to be replaced. Now, this one, that's the immersion there. I just included this to remind myself that the door here, this is the door to the hot press. It's very stiff, so it's difficult to open and close the hot press. So either the door needs to be rehung, or it needs to have something planed off the side of the door. But it's stiff, difficult to open and close. All of the other doors internally were fine. The blind here, this blind here in the kitchen, that's the rear sliding door of the kitchen. The blind is not working properly. The pull cord doesn't work, so I had to kind of push it over and back manually. So that blind needs to be replaced. And this is the blind upstairs. This is the rear bedroom upstairs. This blind is not working properly as well. It needs to be replaced. I couldn't close it like I could close this one. Now, when I go upstairs here, so this is a view of the attic space. And what I wanted just to show you in the attic space is the vents from the toilet rooms. Basically, the vents are connected using these flexible pipes here from the fan, connected all the way up to this is the roof here, and there's a kind of a proprietary slate here where it's vented externally. So that's the way they were typically all connected. Now, the reason I'm showing that one is because one of them has been disconnected. You can see here, this one has been disconnected. This was the pipe, the flexible pipe coming from the first floor bathroom fan. That was disconnected from this is where it was disconnected from. It used to go out here, and it was disconnected deliberately. So it used to come out here into a proprietary slate. But it was disconnected deliberately. I'm not 100% sure why it was disconnected. If I go on to the next page, you can see a close-up view here. That's where the hole used to be, and now it's been covered over with a slate. So somebody did deliberately disconnect it. Now, it may have been that they didn't like the draft that they were getting coming down into in through the fan, and they said, no, we'll just disconnect it. So now effectively what's happening when you turn on the fan in the bathroom, the air is basically being discharged into the attic space, which is not recommended. However, it does not seem to be causing any problems. There's no mold growth, there's no condensation visible, so there's no problem with it. But just in case you're wondering why it was disconnected, it seems to have been disconnected probably because there was a draft from outside coming into the bathroom and they didn't like it. Or alternatively, sometimes when you get air flowing backwards down, it can turn on the fan, and the fan can be, operating, kind of squeaking away on its own, causing a noise nuisance. So there was some nuisance, and then they disconnected it. But it's not causing a problem, so I would have said it's fine to leave it. Now, that's the mousetrap in the attic space. It's full, so it needs to be emptied and the bait needs to be reset. I had a look at the drainage externally. The drainage externally seems to have been designed well and is operating well. It looks fine, there's no blockages. I tested everything. I filled the bath up to full and emptied it. It's draining fine. I've filled the sinks and emptied them. I flushed all the toilets, and there's no leaking that I can see anywhere. Everything with the plumbing there was working well. So I had a look and inspected in all the chambers externally. The foul one is the one closest to the building, and this is the storm. But they're working fine. Again, there's three. This is the front corner of the building beside the side gate. So they're all working fine. Now, at the rear of the property, I did notice the ground is falling this way towards the property, and it's falling backwards here. So I was just, it is possible you may get some ponding here because there is no drainage channel to take it away. Now, it may be that the ground is draining fine and there's no need for an eco channel here or a drain. But if you ever get ponding here that's causing a nuisance or that you don't like, what you can do is you can put in an eco channel and just connect it into the adjacent storm drain, which is right here. So it's right beside, so it would be a fairly easy thing to put in. Now, the neighbor has actually put in this extra roof area here, and he's put in this eco channel. And I think they just put in the eco channel because, not because they were having a problem, but because they just thought it was prudent. So you may find at a later stage, or if you find at a later stage that you're getting ponding here and you don't like it, you can put in an eco channel. It'll be a relatively simple repair. That's about it. That's the end of the report. As I say, just in summary, your property is in, it's above average condition. And let me see if I come back to the summary here. So this is the summary. Yeah, your property is in 2 steps above average. So there's very few defects, and the defects are minor. So I would have said above average would be where I'd rate it. Now, when you're going through the report, if you have any questions, and you will probably have more specific questions about some particular defect, it's you can call me over the phone anytime, and I'll go through it with you in more detail, and we can talk about anything that you're worried about. I'm always available over the phone. Chatting over the phone is easy enough, so that's no problem. And the best of luck with it. All right. Okay, Jean. Bye.